Hi everyone, welcome to today's session, Coffee and Chat with Mel. Grab your coffee or your beverage of choice and join me for a few minutes of talking about learning differences. Today's topic is about autism. The question that I'm going to answer today is, what is individuation and what does it have to do with autism? So what is individuation? Individuation is the first step in childhood development. It's actually our very first job that we have to do as human beings when we come into this world. When we are born, our first job is to get our neural networks into harmony, to orient ourselves to the world, and to start to gain accurate perception. And you can see babies when they start to do this and they try to put their thumb in their mouth, for instance, when first of all it ends up on their nose and their cheek and in their ear, and eventually the thumb makes it into the right place. And what the baby is doing there is exploring where its body is in relation to other things. Now, as a baby starts to gain that accurate perception, they are able to start self-sorting through their senses and gain a stable place to be able to perceive things from, so that they can input data from around them accurately. So their brain is getting the right information through their eyes, and their brain is getting the right information that's coming in through their ears. So things are accurate. Now, when this happens, what they are then able to start doing is to start separating themselves out, to be able to separate themselves from other things and from other people, gaining a sense of self. You might have heard people talk about self-consciousness, being conscious of self. This is a really key, important part of childhood development. So within the first 2 years of life, we have a very important job to do. We need to get our perceptions accurate and in harmony, and to gain that sense of self and that realization that self is separate from other people and from other things. Now, what we know with autism is that this stage of development has not fully happened for people with autism. It might have happened a little bit, it might have started to happen, and then perhaps they've regressed down the path. Everyone is different in their journey, but what we do know is that this individuation stage, which really is a key stage, is not fully complete. And we can see this with people with autism, because with perceptions, they're not always in harmony. You know, we find a lot of people with autism are highly sensitive to things like sound. Their brain processes it in a way that they're very highly sensitive to it, or perhaps light. Or perhaps there is an undersensitivity to things like touch, where you find that perhaps they don't feel pain in the same way. A lot of people that you will find on the autistic spectrum will not have that full sense of self. So they'll have trouble using the words I and me. They might instead mix it up with the word you or we. So we have all of these indicators to show that individuation just hasn't fully happened yet. And what we do know is that individuation is that key part to be able to move on to the next stage. Now, we know that whether someone is 5 years old, 25 years old, or 65 years old, if they are on the autistic spectrum and this individuation hasn't happened, then we need to help that individual to complete that stage. Yeah. Now, I am really blessed to be a Davis dyslexia and Davis autism facilitator. Ron Davis, who developed the Davis autism approach, is himself autistic. So he knows autism from the inside out. He is an autistic genius. And what he has spent his whole life doing is creating a program, a way of enabling those with autism, like himself, to be able to participate more fully in life. And what he knows is that the very first step to that is to achieve individuation. So, Ron, in his beautiful, genius way, has developed some ways to encourage orientation, gaining that accurate perception to then enable someone to be able to separate the world out and gain that sense of self. Now, that is the first step in any Davis autism approach, is that individuation piece, because it is just so key. If you are interested in finding out more about individuation, about any of the Davis autism programs, or if you just have a general question about autism and what it is, how you can help, how you can empower your child, please feel free to flick me a message on Facebook or send me an email, melanie@optimumlearning.co.nz. I would love to hear your questions, and I am here for you. This is what this series is all about. Until next time, have a great day.